are.
Hey, there we got him. There's GL too.
I think they let me in.
Tom Hansen called me and he didn't know if he'd be in with us or not. He had something to do with sports or something, and if he did come on, he said he'd be
Ron, can you hear me? This is Phil. I'm here.
Okay,
Yep.
very good, Phil.
Yeah, we can hear you, Phil.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'll be on voicemail then. I don't have the Zoom access. I'm driving. So.
Well, keep your mind on your driving. We don't want to be responsible for any accidents.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm good. My phone's down. I got it on the vehicle headset, so I can hear everything and respond. So we're good.
Great.
That's fine. Yeah, good to have you, Phil. Okay, my computer says 4 o'clock straight up. Jen, do you have the same time?
Yeah, I have 4 o'clock. Can we do a roll call just for the minute's sake, please?
You betcha.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I'm going to call the roll. Ron Zeman,
Hi.
Dale Wild,
Present.
Gail Tucker,
I'm here.
Bill Hansen,
Here.
Mike Stearns, absent, and Tom Clevey is here. And we have, it looks like 2 guests. We have Kelsey from the city office and Heidi. I don't think I know who you are. Maybe you want to introduce yourself unless everyone else knows you.
I think a few of you know me, but I am the finance officer for the city. So
Oh, you're the new finance officer.
that would be me.
Say, Tom, I know the one item that Phil is interested in before he doesn't have any more time is the involvement with the Gooden property. So if we could maybe push that up first so we could get him in on that in case he has to go.
Okay, well,
You know what? That really doesn't matter now. I'll be driving, so I can listen and hear everything. I should be good. But thank you, Ron. We did talk about that. Thank you.
yeah, we did. And Phil and I spoke about it also. So, but he is attending the meeting. So here we are. All right. Well, then I've called the meeting to order. Item number 2 is the minutes of January 7th. They were in your packets. Are there any comments? I gotta see what I can see.
Larry, are you showing
Phil
the
Hansen,
packet?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Okay, a motion by Phil to approve the minutes,
Second by Dale.
second by Dale. Any discussion? All those in favor? Oh, I have to call the roll. Ron Zeman.
Aye.
Everybody disappeared here. Phil,
Aye.
Dale,
Aye.
DL.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Item number 3, the financial report and the payment of claims. Thought I had a question on the payment of claims. Maybe that was last month. We have a few new reports in our packet.
Well, one of the items on our agenda today is to discuss our financial statements and the format, and that's why Heidi Thunberg is here to talk to us about how that's going to be done in the future, or how we may want it done in the future.
I see. Well, that's fine. I think the only question I had was there's a publication, I think that's a city office publication, is that correct, that Kiplinger?
Yeah, that's a publication that I get.
All right. Any other questions or comments on the financial statements? Oh, welcome. Let the minutes show Matt Boki is here. Have you always been here, Matt? I didn't see you. You're on mute, but I see you.
Sorry about, I was on the other line with a customer. I apologize for my tardiness.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss you. Jen, you can let the record reflect Matt has joined the meeting. Matt, we've passed the minutes. Any comments on the financial reports? Otherwise, I'll take a motion.
Also move for approval.
Motion by Ron,
GL second.
EL seconds. Any discussion? I'll call the roll. Matt Boki,
Aye.
GL,
Aye.
Dale Wild,
Aye.
Ron Zeman,
Aye.
Bill Hanson.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Hey, Tom, I hate to interrupt you here, but Larry, do you have the packet on? I can't see the packet on the shared screen. I just have the email showing.
I have the packet on there and I'm scrolling through it.
Yeah, your shared screen is just the email. I have my packet open on my other screen. I went into my email.
Well, let me see what I can do here. Hold on.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, well, I'm gonna. I will let you do that because I'll need your attention on item 4A. So.
Hey, Mr. Clevey, 4A, that appraisal is not in our packet. Is that correct?
It is not.
There is
Okay,
no
thank you.
appraisal yet. We're going to discuss when we should get that appraisal.
Yep.
I'm
Thank you.
sharing the screen. Do you have it now?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what was on my screen the whole time, so I'm
Oh.
surprised. So,
Yep. We can see it now. Okay, so item 4A, the appraisal of the Gooden property. You want to give a quick summary, Larry? You want me to, or what?
sure, no, I'll summarize that. We
Okay.
have an option with Gooden to purchase some land up in our Richwood Road Industrial Park. They paid $3,000 for the option. The reason that we set it at the $3,000 is we thought that was probably a reasonable price for what we would pay for an appraisal. And we were going to talk about when we would want to do that appraisal. One of the things that's should weigh into our decision is that we're waiting to figure out when the county is going to do something with the county shop property. And I did have a discussion with Ben Grimsley about that. And he said that the county is preparing to get ready to start their work on their highway department shop up in the North Tower Road Industrial Park. And so he thought the timing would be right for us to start having some discussions with the county about possible acquisition of their property. But I thought we wanted to get something going with the county before we started doing an appraisal of the Gooden property. And I just wanted to touch base with you guys. If you think we should go ahead and do that now, we can go ahead and order it, or if you want to wait a while.
Got a question there is, at first the school buses garages were gonna buy that property. Are they no longer gonna be doing that, or what happened with
They were never in a position where they were going to buy out the entire county highway department property. They were looking at parts of it. And we have been in discussions with them as well about what they plan to do in that area.
Okay. But what are their plans looking at this?
I
Well,
don't know if they're ready to announce.
it depends on how much it costs them to acquire what they need from the county, or if it's even possible. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions, Ron.
Okay, I was just wondering, because I was wondering if they'd have a chance to do what they want to do with part of it, and we'd be able to do what we want to do with the rest of it there, because there's quite a bit of property there, but just asking.
Bill Hanson here. How long is the appraisal good for? How long does it take, number one? And then how long would it be good for? Is it something, if nothing happens for a year, we'd have to redo it? Or can you give me some information on that?
It's very possible that an appraisal gets outdated. Certainly, if it takes a long time to conclude a purchase, that would get outdated, and it's difficult to say how long they're good for.
Yeah, for our purposes, I see it lasting for quite some time. It would be different if we were a lender looking to finance a home or a commercial building. The appraisal would become stale in probably 6 months. Absent a major economic event, an appraisal just for a point of beginning negotiating is going to be a good document for quite some time, I think.
How soon does Gooden want to get going as far as building a new building out in the North Industrial Park? What's their timeline on this?
Well, they have not set a timeline, but they are anxious to get moving.
So you think within the next year or whatever, they want to be out there, break ground? And
Yeah, I do, yeah. I think it would be prudent, just me speaking, to go ahead and order the appraisal. It's not going to be stagnant for our purposes for quite some time, and it'll be good for us as a baseline if we want to start talking to the county.
I would be fine with that.
I would agree
How
with that
much did the
too.
appraisal cost?
We're
we
estimating
estimated more.
around 3,000, but we haven't asked the appraisers for a quote yet.
I think if we ever have a plan to do something over there in that area, which we've talked about before, I mean, this is the first chip, right? That's the first domino. Something's got to fall first. It's the first one. So to me, it makes sense. And then that kind of gives you a baseline of what property is going to go for over there.
I agree. We should have a motion to begin the process.
I'll make a motion, this GL.
Okay, GL, you made a motion to begin the process and order an appraisal. Is there a second?
I'll second that. This is Ron.
Ron seconds it. Any discussion on that?
So
Just
Tom,
for clarification, looking at this, I know Ron was at the council meeting last time, and the the food pantry is looking at a lot up there. Larry, is this the same lot that the food pantry is looking at, or is this a separate lot?
This is not the same lot that the food pantry is looking at, and I really think that when it comes time for the food pantry to purchase a lot, we're going to be very selective about which lot would be available for them. They certainly shouldn't be looking at the most desirable lots that we have in the industrial park. Or we
Nope,
shouldn't
I
be
agree
looking at letting
Is
them
it-
have that.
Is this an
Nope, I
opportunity?
agree.
If speaking of the food pantry, is this an opportunity to make a comment on that? I mean, if you want to go, I have a comment. Isn't it called the Becker County Food Pantry?
Let's hold on a second, GL. Let's finish the motion on the floor.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion on the motion to begin the appraisal process?
So this is Dale. I have a question. I lost you guys here for a minute. Are you talking about an appraisal on the property that Gooden now owns?
Yes, it is.
Well, so why aren't they providing an appraisal to justify their value?
Well, because they essentially are. They have purchased a first right of refusal, and with that money, we're ordering it, so we own the appraisal.
All right. That's a bit unusual, but that's not to say it can't be done that way. And if you're selling.
We always do things in an unusual way because we're the ones that are trying to drive this development in that area.
Yeah. So we're using part of the proceeds from the potential sale of the property that we want to get rid of to justify what we might be willing to pay or to take in on trade their property. Is that what you're?
No, they have already purchased a first right of refusal for $3,000.
I know, but they haven't exercised it. So
No, but when they do, they'll pay the full price.
So that was that 3,000.
Like I see where you're going here, but in my mind, and just kind of a little history, that the county owns property over there and they want to get going on a county shed. You got Olander Bus over there, and we see that as and then we are exiting out of the aren't we out of the city's exiting out of the of Public Works garage. So we see that may be some developable property over there for a pretty good chunk in there, right? I mean, could potentially be.
Right, that's the history.
Yeah, so the idea here is to see how you could get the dominoes to fall to try to get that whole thing redeveloped. Because if you go in there, I mean, no offense to the county, but their property isn't the best looking piece I've ever seen in my life. And so, and then, so that's the idea here. So that's why I'm in favor. I would be willing to spend the $3,000 to try to establish a little bit of the value, because eventually we're going to have to negotiate with the county if they exit out of there. And we all would agree that the county tends to be a little bit, they might not still have their confirmation money, but they're still a little tight.
Other discussion? All right, I'll call the roll. Ron?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Neil?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And Phil Hansen?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Item 4B, discuss the financial statements and the format. Welcome Heidi Thunberg. We've not met, but I see her on the screen. First of all, Heidi, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you come from?
Sure, yeah. So I've been working for the city now since April 20th of last year, so not too shy of a year almost. Prior to here, I was the finance director for the city of Sartell. And then prior to that, kind of did a stint down in the Twin Cities metro area, worked for the city of Excelsior as their finance director for a number of years, and then also the city of Mound as their accountant. So prior to that, I was also in the audit world. I audited local governments, so did a little bit of that. And so just really happy to be here in Detroit Lakes.
Yeah, well, and welcome. We're much better than Sartell.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
Hands
down. So what changes do you want to make to our financial statements?
So I kind of brought this up to Larry and Jen as an item that I'd like to discuss with all of you guys to kind of get a handle on the information that we currently provide to you in terms of financial statements, whether or not that information is useful for you, and then if there is a potential to make any changes that might give you better information. As you had mentioned earlier, you'll notice that the payment registers, instead of instead of recreating what information is already coming out of our financial system software, I just pulled the report directly from the software so that, I mean, I'm all about work smarter, not harder. So as long as this gives us the same information and it's still easily digestible by you guys, I would prefer to go that route. I think the other areas that I see where we could potentially make some changes, it does honestly make me a little bit uncomfortable that we prepare statements that aren't in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, the GAAP process that we have to abide by. So I know there has been some want to have those assets that land on a financial statement, and that's just not something that's in accordance with GAAP accounting for governments. I mean, we can still provide that information maybe in a different format, rather than having it on a balance sheet. I just get a little bit concerned when we're taking information and manipulating it in a way that isn't true to government finance. That concerns me a bit from my audit days.
My opinion would be that as long as we can have that information in some other report on a quarterly basis or something, that would work fine.
Yeah, and even on a monthly basis is still fine to me.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it changes that frequently, so I don't think it would be something that would be difficult to put together, but kind of wanted to get your ideas of the information we provide and if there's something I can do to make it a little better. GL's familiar with kind of my way of doing the finance reports through the Public Utilities Commission, and I think we've made some good progress there in improving how those are and the information that the end user, you guys, receive. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm doing my job and giving you everything you would like to know, and in a way that is easily digestible for you guys.
Yeah, and I think, getting back into the history of it all, and you might be talking specifically about the multi-column balance sheet, the fund accounting, back when we had an IRP loan, managing that fund and accounting for that fund specifically because it was federal money was a little bit more concerning, at least to me, because I came out of that world over at MMCDC where I managed the IRPs and the Red Legs and RBOGs and all those, and it was very specific fund management. We still have some funds, our own revolving loan funds and things like that. As far as the fixed assets, I know government doesn't like to report fixed assets. And I didn't know if that was GAAP or GASB that pulled them out, but whichever. I guess I don't really have an opinion one way or the other now that we don't have an IRP or any other federal or state fund that we have to report on, if they're on there or not, and others can weigh in. It is just good to know what is in ownership, and that separate schedule is just fine with me. And that's all I have to say. If you see a need for a change absent those federal funds, I have no objection right now, but others go ahead and comment.
Phil Hansen here. I would like to see what Heidi has in mind. Could we do both for next month and just kind of compare and contrast? Because I've been on the Development Authority for several years, and I just kind of look at those numbers. I don't know, and maybe that's my shortcoming. I don't know exactly what they all mean, but it would be beneficial to me to see it in a different format and kind of bring it to life if that's what Heidi's talking about. But for the interim, if we could just see both and you could come to next month's meeting and share with us, I think that would be a good start.
Yeah, I can certainly do that. I think just off the top of my head, I was going to present kind of my suggestion as to what could change. It ended up getting a little involved because our financial system doesn't doesn't put things together as nicely as I might want it to. So for instance, the 3-column or the multi-column balance sheet would be on multiple different pages. So I'm not sure that that would be an improvement, but where I see where we could have some improvement is just breaking down the information in more of a narrative format, like I did with the Public Utilities Commission. That kind of gives you a little bit of context as to what you're looking at and what you should be looking at and focusing on. And then that can also highlight any changes from month to month that you might not otherwise get from seeing just a 1-month snapshot of where things are at. So those are kind of my initial thoughts and suggestions.
Heidi, have you had, when we've been audited, have you had some of the accounting firms bring up some of the stuff that we should maybe do it differently, or?
No, I think it's just personal preference. I mean, as long as we're providing you guys with the information, the manner in which we do so is probably not that concerning to them. I don't know that they even really realize that we put together a statement that's not, proper governmental accounting. So I don't think that they probably even are aware, that they're even aware of that. That said, I think, they would discourage that type of activity from happening.
This is just to kind of streamline all departments into the same type of accounting system, just for the ease of getting things done the easiest way it can be and understandably.
Yeah, I think so. Rather than kind of recreating the wheel every month, I'd like to just take some reports out of our finance system and then break it down for you in a way that helps you, understand what you're looking at and highlighting things that you should focus on.
This Gio, I would say on the public utilities, there's some of us on, the public utilities and on this board that are more used to looking at financial sheets and reports than others, right? And, for the changes Heidi made at the public utilities made it a lot simpler in my mind for those of us that maybe, aren't looking at these things every day, because we kind of get a snapshot of, really if there's any changes, and like she says, more of a narrative format. Still got the numbers for the numbers of guys out there that want to go through them, but for those of us that aren't, I think it's a lot easier for us to understand. I'll leave it at that. So
it sounds good to me what you want to do, Heidi, and like maybe Phil says, give an example for next month, but I'm willing to give it a try. I don't know how the rest of you feel, but
and Heidi, are we the only gray duck in your whole system?
I'm trying to get the ducks in a row, so to speak, a little bit better. I'm not sure that that's the only gray duck that we've got. I'm pretty sure we've got a few others. So
yeah,
chipping away.
It makes sense to me. And if the rest of the departments are kind of doing it the way it should be done, then it's not hard for us to just train our eyes to look what we need, even if it's on different pages. That would still be fine with me. So.
Okay. Thank you. And
Right,
if there's ever any other
I don't think we need any action on this.
No,
I think
I don't
we
think
have
so
our
either.
direction going forward, and that's good.
Yep. Just whatever Heidi wants to do is fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Number 5, old business. This is for information only. Our priority list and our commercial industrial property list. Is there any comment for the record on those lists, Larry?
No, I have no comments on those.
All right.
I just wanted to comment as far as, looking at, as far as being able to help something. This is the first time I can remember in all the years that I've lived in town that I got email from Washington Square Mall asking people if they got suggestions of who they can have for renters. They would pay a bounty if you could give them some suggestions. And I don't know what we can do to help them all, but boy, it's pretty empty. And when that other lady store moves out here now in the next 4 or 5 weeks, I don't know, it's looking pretty dismal over there. I don't know what we can do to help them, but there's a lot of empty spaces there. And like I said, I'm concerned about how our downtown is looking retail wise. It used to be a kind of a regional hub for retail, and it's really lacking right now. So I don't know what we can do, but it's
Well, we'll keep our eyes open and help them do some recruiting. All right, and for the good of the order, Matt, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, Phil.
Just GL was going to get back to the food pantry, and did we want to continue that conversation or not?
Well, he's next on my screen, so we'll let him talk. Go ahead, GL.
Well, I just have a question that I had heard or saw the minutes, or I don't know how it came by me that, and I don't know if exactly what's going on, but that is the food pantry wanting to purchase a lot in the industrial park? Is that what's going on?
They are looking at possible new locations for the food pantry, either to buy an existing building or to acquire land in the industrial park and build a new building. I'm not sure how far that's going to go or where it's going to go, but that's been some of the discussion. Kelsey could probably add more to that.
I was out to the food pantry here 2 weeks ago, and I was out there to give a donation like I always do. And at Christmas time when the train comes in, and they pretty well told me that looking at the building that we were trying to suggest to them, the old Red Star, they were not interested in. They are really looking at wanting to build a steel building by Fultz. And I had two board members call me here a week ago, and they want to have they want to do a fundraiser because this steel building is going to be approximately $1 million. And I believe the council is going to go and visit the food pantry building here, I think on the 15th, I believe it is, of this month, and take a look at it and see what they're proposing. And I asked these board people, I said, well, if you're thinking about building, have you got enough fundraisers to do this? And they kind of felt they did. So I don't know if they can raise their own money. And we also talked about this being a county project too. And they did say that the county's hasn't been the easiest to work at as far as maybe supporting some funds for this, but they're going to keep working with the county because it is called a Becker County Food Pantry.
All right, Kelsey, did you have something from that?
You know, I think Larry and Ron are pretty correct on their summary. I think their preference is to do a new building. I think their preference is to do a new building and donate it to the city because, as you might know now, the city is currently the landlord for the food pantry. We own that building. We give it to them for $1 a year, and we maintain it for them. So I think their preference would be to build a new building. Yes, probably in our industrial park, and then transfer it to the city, and then the city continues being their landlord and maintain it for them. Obviously, city council has to determine if they want that relationship to continue or what our involvement would be. And Ron's correct. We're looking at trying to do a tour with the city council of the food pantry on the 15th. I know their board also went to the county finance committee yesterday, and I think there was even some discussion at the county board meeting today on that issue.
All right, GL.
Well, you guys are more, to me, the county is sitting over there by the jail on land, right? And the land that's over there, first of all, and we've had multiple conversations about swaps and that, and they think it's pretty worthwhile. They think it's pretty valuable, and that's fine. But it is Becker County Food Pantry, and to me, that land and that location would be ideal for the food pantry because it's easily accessible off of a couple of pretty main roads right there. And if the county's dragging their feet, I just hate to give them, we don't need it today. At some point, we developed the industrial park for the industrial park, and to me, that might make a lot more sense to have them over on the county land by the jail than it does to have them in the industrial park. So that's my spin for what it's
all right, Dale, do you have anything?
Oh, I guess not.
All right, Phil, I missed you.
Nope, I don't have anything. I just wanted GL to continue his thought. That's all.
All right, then I think I've got everybody. With nothing else,
I was gonna ask Larry, on the lots that they were looking at for the food pantry, what are the prices of a lot that's not the premier lot, but just a lot that's not number one, or?
Well, the lots that we have in the industrial park are in the $50,000 to $65,000 range. So one of the ones that they were looking at was 62,800 and some dollars, but I'm not just sure that that's one of the lots that we would necessarily let them have for that type of use.
Because I go along with what GL says, you know, we built this industrial park, spent money on it to bring in jobs. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting if we could find another location or another lot that would.
I think GL is right that the Highway 59 location is very nice for that.
And the county owns the land. And so it's a Becker County food bank. So, I mean, I don't mean to be rude here, but I mean, at some point they got to pony up, you know?
But if we want to have the Becker County food pantry involved with the county, and to me, that'd be a good option for the county to give us a chunk of the land for that food pantry. Because I know that if they go to the industrial park, you know as well as I do, they're going to ask us for a donation because they don't have any money at all.
Yep. All right, anything else? Kelsey, go ahead.
I'm sorry, can I throw in one more thing on the food pantry? So Ron mentioned, you know, we were looking at other buildings to buy, and, you know, one of the buildings we looked at is the the old bread store on Highway 34 that's currently for sale. And one of the reasons I want to explain why we're looking at an existing building is, you know, back this summer when the county and the city both got CARES funding, we were looking at how we could use those CARES dollars to basically buy a food pantry and move them in. Buying an existing building with federal funds is relatively quite a bit easier than trying to do new construction using federal funds, especially on a tight time frame. So the other reason why I bring that up is, you know, this new federal stimulus package, you know, the county could be looking at receiving, you know, somewhere north of $6.5 million. And that might be a good opportunity to put the food pantry up on that high on that priority list to use some of those funds. And again, I think the same issue is going to hold true with building new with those federal funds. You're going to have to do Davis-Bacon wages and procurement documents, where acquiring a building is just easier. So I want to give you the full picture of what we're looking at there with the food pantry.
Thanks, Kelsey. You know, today, probably most of you don't know, but today and yesterday and today was the Public Utilities American Public Power Association legislative rally virtually. And today we had the keynote speaker was the guy, probably got his name, Jonathan Swan. He's that big reporter, Australian reporter for IPOS, covers Washington, D.C., and he kind of gave us a run of the land in Washington. His quote unquote was that the federal, in this new stimulus money is going to be thrown around like confetti coming out of a cannon. And Joe Manchin, then we had Joe Manchin talk to us too today. And Joe Manchin basically said that this money is going to go to local municipalities and county entities. It's not going to go to states, because we all know governors like to hoard the money. So it's going to go out to counties and municipalities. And so be ready and be thinking about projects. So that's what that's what I know. That's what I heard. And so.
All right. Good to know.
For what it's worth.
All right. All right. Well, everybody's had a chance to give their piece. We're done with our agenda. Unless there's a disagreement, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for attending. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
I hope COVID lets us meet sometime.
Be nice.
I agree. Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.